to go over two families. I want to go through them. I want to compare them each side by side for different things throughout what they've done and what they do, and just how they live or lived. And then from there, I want to just enlighten and say, you got to think about this. Which way do I want to be, or which way am I? Which way have I been? Do I want to change anything? And that's what my whole goal is. On that note, I just want to start out by saying, kings and queens, the crown, owns 100% of all land in the UK and 90.3% of all the land in Canada. Why am I saying that? Well, think about it. How much land does the quote-unquote U.S. government own, or how much land is, the population's land, or, public land, as they put it, which the public can't usually use most of it. And it's got to be, I don't know the last figures, but I thought it was closer to 40%. And if that's the case, that means you and I don't own it. Even though they say it's public land, public means that you and I can use that, access it, do what you want with it. But it's not. They say it's public. It's government owned. Government owned, so it's owned by the crown or the president or the, Washington, D.C., or the powers that be that are in charge, the powers that shouldn't be, I should have said, that are in charge, because they can use it and their families can use it. All they want, and their friends and whatever, the relatives, whoever they say can use it. Whatever they see fit. But you and I can't do the same. So does that mean it's public land? Does that mean you and I own it? Absolutely not. They've stolen our money to pay for it. They've stolen our money to keep it. They've stolen our money to pay for bankers' wars. They've stolen our money to pay for the forces, the armed forces, to keep us away from that kind of stuff. But is that different than the crown? Is that different than a king and queen owning 100% of the UK's land and 90.3% of Canada's land? Even though people live on land and they think they own it, they don't own it. It's even written in the papers. They don't own that land. And on that same note, here in America, you think you own your land? You're renting it. Why do you pay property taxes? If you own it, if you own something, you don't pay for it anymore. You don't pay any sort of property tax on it. You own it, period. So do you really own your land? Because if you stop paying your property taxes, they're taking your land, they're taking your house, and you're not allowed to live there. Period. So is that really ownership? I would say absolutely not. That's just compiled on theft. This thing of theft that's called taxes, this thing of theft that's called inflation, and this thing of theft that's called the land you own, you really don't own, because if you don't pay, we take it away. And if you don't pay just your property taxes, what are your property taxes for? Nothing, except to enrich them and give them control. Anyways, I want to get off that for a second. I'm going to go through these families I'll talk about now. There's family 1 and family 2. Family 1, purchase assets, lands, rights, whenever able, gold, silver, guns, ammo, garden essentials, farm animals, chickens, rabbits, goats, cattle. Then family 2, I call them family E. Family 1 is family R. Family 2 purchased new vehicles, gadgets when able, new phones, big screen TVs, high-end clothes, bags, that's Hermes, Coach, Louis Vuitton, that kind of stuff. Again now, family 1 acquires items with an idea of their future generations, so the assets, land rights, whenever able, gold, silver, guns, ammo, like I talked about. Family 2, family E, season tickets, bars, casinos, television, entertainment, $5 to $8 daily coffee or lattes, as always, goes out to lunch mostly goes out to lunch during work, and usually dinners too. So family R, family 1, spends time and resources on networking, learning new skills, reading, teaching children how to get chores accomplished, and help them with needs, vehicle, spiritual, ambitions, etc. Family 2 or Family E, subscriptions galore. Spotify, satellite television, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, channels, Netflix, Vudu, going to games, casinos, that kind of stuff, etc. Back to Family R, Family 1. Home education for the children, before and after and or during work and home tasks. Show them great books to start with on finance, growth, family, medicine, etc. Just anything to expand their mind and get them educated. Family 2, Family E. Send children to government schools, K through 12, depending on someone else, to raise their children and guide their children's future. That's what they do. They depend on someone else to raise their children and guide their children's future. Family 1, Family R. Help children if they show interest in starting a business, learning to farm, livestock, vegetation, or both. Help children with purchasing their first home or even rental properties, or teach them about that. Teach them about what's possible, what's in their future, what could be. Family 2, Family E. Help pays for children's continued indoctrination, universities, and government higher education. Family 1, Family R. Continue to acquire assets and build real wealth, generational wealth, legacy wealth. Family 2, Family E. Seek out financial advisor. Depend on someone else to control their finances and future. And then Family 1, Family R. Invest in family, friends, community, and build everlasting generational relationships and tools and know-how. Family 2, Family E. Invest in 401k, 529 plans. Trust other entities with your savings and future. Family 1, Family R. When all you can for security, financial benefits to your future generations, and the ability to help others. Family 2, Family E. Rent everything and own nothing. For yourself and the future generations, no real ability to help others in the end. So why am I going over this? Why am I saying this? Trying to make it, you guys realize that these are possibilities, these are things that happen. And what end of the spectrum are you on? I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm not saying what you're doing is right. I'm just trying to say there's a comparison of two different thoughts, two different thought patterns, two different angles, two different ways of doing things and going about it. And you have to choose for yourself what's better. Absolutely. I know I'm 100% with Family 1, Family R. And Family 2, Family E, I am not. I try to stay away from that whole spectrum, that whole train of thought. Now, just want to let you know, why did I call them Family 1 was R, Family 2 was E. Family 1 was Rockefellers, Rothschilds. That's what they do. That's how they become large and powerful. That's how their families are well-to-do. That's how their families grow and expand. That's how their families control assets and get more and more and more for their benefit, absolutely, for their security, for their safety, for whatever you want to call it. Then there's Family E, which was Family 2. That's every other day family on average. Not everyone, but the every other day family on average is why I call it Family E, because that's most people. It's all about I need the thing now. I need it fast. I need to be entertained. I need to be entertained more. Then I need to be entertained even more. Then when I'm eating, I want my eating to be entertaining. Like I want to eat the best of the best of the best of the best of the sweet, or I want to spend more and more money on this junk and junk and junk and more junk, or these cars or these watches or these purses or these bags or the latest and greatest of this clothing, and I will go in debt. I am in debt. I'm going to go in further debt to help try to alleviate my other debt. I'm going to go in a tremendous amount of debt so I can continue to keep living like I want to. I want to live like this and not care whatsoever that you're renting everything and you're owning nothing. And what's happening there, your generations are dwindling and going poorer and poorer and smaller, and they have less and less control of their lives, period, now and forever. But if you are saving and striving for your generations and yourself and trying to acquire and accumulate and get stuff of real wealth, not renting, you're owning. You can do the renting to people, if you will, if you want, because you're in that spot where you can. You don't have to rent an apartment. You can own apartment buildings. That's rent homes. You can rent out homes. That type of thinking, that type of thought. So I just want people to think of that. And on the same note, it's sort of like, well, on the whole monetary thing, it's, do I really want this here, these paper dollars, these $40, two $20 bills, or better yet, what we're going to, it's just digits, the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, just digits. I can't show you anything of that because it doesn't exist. It's just digits. That's all it is. You'll never see it. You'll never hold it. You'll never really own it. Period. Versus. They got some of these. Versus these. This is silver. These are just generic rounds. These are generic Morgan rounds. They're real. They're mine. No one else owns them. And they can't be inflated away like this. Even though I can see this, touch it, feel it, it still is inflated away. This here cannot be. And they manipulate as much as they can to keep it as low as they can. To give it the facade that this is actually worth something. And worse yet, this is actually worth something. These digits, the stuff you can't see, the real fake stuff, it all goes along the same lines with if you're playing a hunting game or a first-person shooter game, those bullets and those guns, great, it's fun. If you're into that for entertainment, that's all digits. It's not real. You don't really own a gun. You don't really own bullets. You don't really own ammunition. So your digital ammunition in the game, great if you need it for the game. This is real ammunition. This is real. I can hold it. It actually shoots out of a real gun that I can actually hold and I own. And no one else owns. So that's the difference. You have digits, your ammunition, your fake stuff here, or your real stuff. Digits here, or your real stuff here. Real stuff that can't be inflated away. So paper's real. Paper's real, but the value is being inflated away. So the value is not real. So I just want people to think about that. Think about the families and which way are you doing? Which way do you want to be? Do you need to change something? You want to change something? If you have it figured out, great. But anyway, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this lecture, subscribe. As always, stay vigilant. Yourself.